Next on One on One.
From the time I was 15,
Right.
all the way up until I was 30, I've been looking. And now I finally found it right there. And it's just everything, you have all chaos, and
Right.
it just comes into an alignment. I finally found the true religion. I finally
After
found it.
one session.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to One on One. I'm Brother Barry Thompson. This is a show where you meet everyday people from all over the world who have spent their lives walking in one or many directions, only to discover that they needed to find a right path to God. Now see what these people found in the Church of Christ or Iglesia Cristo that they couldn't find anywhere else. Today we're going one-on-one with Brother Sam Hamilton, who from a very young age always had questions about religion. See where his relationship with God and the Iglesia Cristo Church of Christ brought him. Let's take a look at his story.
I'm a technical, kind of like analytical guy. You just can't tell me, right? Because when somebody tells me something, I have to say, why? A lot of the questions, you would ask one question, like, where did Jesus come from? And then you get another answer that really contradicts what the first answer is, right? And a lot of times, there's no other answer that I could have because this is all I know. You get a splinter in your finger, and just imagine that you have something in your mind, but there's something else out there. There's something out there that can give me the answer, but I don't know where to get it. But then you ask yourself, there has to be a religion that is there in Christianity. Which one is it? Where is it? And how do you know, is it the right one? Does it have the facts to back it up? We would talk a little bit, about religion. And he says, "Oh, so you're well informed." I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of, I kind of know a lot of things, but I really don't need, go to church or anything like that because I know, I know things." He invited me to come to church like 3 times, and then the last time I felt really bad, and I said, "Okay, well, I'll go to church with you."
In the studio today, we have Brother Sam Hamilton. Brother Sam, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your religious upbringing. What was religion to you as a young boy?
Well, religion to me as a young boy, I was baptized as a Catholic, but my mom raised me as a Baptist. Mm-hmm. And so we went to church every Sunday. I even joined a choir also, and we also went to Bible studies also.
When did you start asking questions about religion?
Roughly around when I was like 15, 16 years old. Started figuring out that, some things are not right, something's not quite, doesn't make any sense.
What is it that didn't make sense to you?
Well, for one thing, Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ, is he a God or is he a man? For one, and then how does God have a son? Mm-hmm. Right? These are all the questions that are bothering me. It's like a splinter in my mind. Just what are these? What's the right answer?
So were you asking these questions to your religious leaders at the time?
Yes.
What kind of answers did you get from them?
Just have faith and believe. And that's all you need to know. Even that also from my mother. Mm-hmm. Also, same thing.
Like you're asking questions about Jesus Christ and God. What was it about their relationship or who Jesus Christ was to you then that made you ask questions?
Well, the thing is where it's like God says he's omnipotent, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. All-knowing, everything. And then they come to Jesus and they say that Jesus is now God in the flesh.
Okay.
And then from there, he went back to heaven. Now he's God.
Okay, so you had a problem with God becoming a man as what others believe.
Yes.
Your previous religion.
Mm-hmm.
So when you ask about that, was there any explanation given to you?
No, not in a deep way. It's just mostly just you just have to have faith and believe, because that's what we believe.
But you say you're a very analytical person. There had to be other things that you were analyzing about religion, things that you saw that made you want to maybe venture out. I don't know if is that what you actually did? Did you venture out?
Yes, I ventured out to different religions to find the answers that I was looking for. Just not a lot, it's a lot of things that I struggled with, because it didn't make any sense of a lot of things that were going on in my faith. And I was just wondering, what are the actual facts? It doesn't make any sense. I can have faith, I can believe in anything, but if I'm not worshiping the correct way, is God going to accept me?
So at this point in your life, it seems that you already had a belief in the Bible, you understand? And you had a belief in the Bible, you had a belief in the God introduced in the Bible. You might not have known who is the true God of the Bible, but you did believe in God. And how long did your searching go on? How long? You were about 15, 16 when you started asking questions, but describe the events that took place. Some specific events maybe that happened to you that made you either more confused or gave you more, what happened?
From 15, 16, since I was still being, raised by my mom, and I was still under her house, I still had to worship and believe what she believed.
Right.
And then when I turned 18, I started searching out, because I started getting different friends, from different religions, from different backgrounds. And then I started talking to them and then practicing their beliefs. And when I hit around 21, then I came across Islam.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I became a Muslim.
Really?
And they taught for the first time from the Trinity. You have God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, which is all God. But in the Muslim belief, they believe that there's only one God, and Jesus is just a man, a prophet. So that made more sense, because it answered some of the questions that I had. But then again, there was still a key part that was missing from me, because Islam I was raised as a Christian. And then the Islam that I was being taught, they also preached that, in a way that it really didn't make any sense to me either. The Quran really didn't make sense to me, but the Bible did make sense. But no one had really any deep meaning from the Bible. They couldn't answer. They only answered from their opinion.
So you started off as a Catholic. They didn't provide you with the answers that you were searching for, right? Like a complete understanding of what is actually happening in the Bible, right?
Yes.
And then you go to the Protestant churches. What are some of the Protestant churches that you listened to? Or you were Baptist for a little while? And then
Baptist, First AME, Lutheran. Then we went to a non-denominational, which is just Christian, and back to Lutheran.
Right.
And then I kind of touched into some a little bit of what my brother was doing, like Jehovah's Witness. And then it just all around just kept going to the same different churches, but still getting the same answers.
And then in the Muslim religion, at least they didn't teach Trinity.
Correct.
And so that caught your attention. But then you found out maybe there were many holes in what they were teaching also.
Yes.
So you decided to go back to so-called Christianity, the Christianity that you knew, and you kept on searching.
Right.
Now describe what happened to change your search into something that you found.
Well, after I came out of Islam, I just said to myself, there's no answer to what I'm looking for. I'm actually looking for the true Christianity, because if you look at the Bible, it started with the Hebrews, and it started with Christ. That's where the whole foundation comes from. Okay. And then I said, well, there's no Protestant church that has that. Not even Islam has that. So then I just left. I just didn't even follow any kind of a God. I didn't want to follow nothing, right? So I just did my own thing. And then I bumped into, I was a pharmacist delivering medication, and I bumped into Milo Inofanata, who kept, inviting me to come to church. But I said, what kind of church do you have? And he says, oh, it's Church of Christ. I'm like, it's another one of those Protestant.
What was your thinking at this time? You guys are just like everybody else.
Yeah, it's just another one of those Protestant churches, Trinity and all that. I didn't even ask him questions, but he just, every time I seen him, he always invited me and kept inviting me. But then after a while, I would tell him, at first I would say no. No, I'm not. I'm okay. I know God. I know God. So I said, no, I don't want to do that. But then he kept on inviting me, and I said, okay, well, I'll go. But I never would show up. But every time I had to deliver medication to him, because at his facility, I had to bump into him.
You had to face him.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, man. Every time I'm like, I got to go to this place. All right, I'll go.
Just to get him off your back, right?
Yeah, just to get him off.
Describe your experience the first time that what was it? Did you go to a Bible study, a worship service?
A worship service.
Okay.
And it was Brother Paping that was teaching.
All right.
And he taught about the last days, the signs of the last days. And me being, analytical, technical, it's like, that makes sense. And he didn't come from his own opinion. It came right from the Bible. And the first thing that I saw is that, it totally makes sense. And I thought that, wow, this, you kind of want to step back after the whole worship service. And it's like, is this a Christian church? It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, we're going to get a little bit more into that when we come back. When we come back, we'll see what Brother Sam found in the Iglesia Cristo that kept him coming back. Welcome back to One on One. With us is Brother Sam Hamilton, who looked into many different religions. But let's see what caught his attention in the Iglesia Cristo, or Church of Christ.
We ask you, brethren, to please listen closely to what the Bible teaches to each one of us.
In the church, they just don't say, well, this is what happened, and this is the way it is, and this is what happens. This is it, right? This is what I feel. This is what I know. People always do that. A lot of religions do that. They tell you, this is what I know, right? But in the Church of Christ, the minister opens up the Bible and explains to you right there. He doesn't speak from what he knows. He speaks from what the Bible says. That's what made, that makes a lot more sense to me. There's contradiction between different faiths. Even from Islam, you have two different kind of Shiite, Sunni. You have, like in Christian faith, they believe in one way. Like Baptists believe totally different from, the New Way Baptists, right? Or Jehovah's Witness. Or, and there's different sects and everything that, they're all contradict each other. So which one is real? But when you come to the Church of Christ, everything is all in unity. Everything is all one. The aha moment in the church comes when Brother Pepin actually took the words in the Bible, right, and he aligned it with the prophecy that went on in the world. I mean, if everything just like, the rumor of the wars, right, throughout the whole world will know about it, right? That's in the Bible. And if you look at the actual fact of it, and it corresponds with each other. It's like ABC 1, 2, 3. It's like that. It's all laid out there for you. And you can ask as many questions as you want, and the answers will just come to you from what the minister says from the Bible.
Earlier, Brother Sam, you were describing your initial introduction to the church. You attended a worship service. Continue to tell us what that experience was like when you heard some of the teachings being taught.
Well, just listening from the teachings from when Brother Pepin was talking about the prophecy of these last days, all of that just makes perfectly sense. Because you took what was happening in the world and he shows you how it is prophesied in the Bible. And no minister ever done that before. You know, they just do what they feel or explain what they feel. But when he did that, that perfectly made perfect sense to me. And at the same time, I kind of like stepped back. And
This was your first worship service.
First worship service, first time ever going to Church of Christ. And I kind of stepped back and I was like wondering, like, whoa, is this a Christian church?
Why did you ask that question? What made it, aside from him answering the questions, what made it so different than other churches?
Well, because when you go to other churches, it's just, they'll probably read one verse from the Bible, and then for the whole hour, it's just how they feel about that one verse.
And in the Iglesia y Cristo,
Cristo is more, they teach you a lesson in the Bible. They teach you who is God, who is Jesus, how you live your life. And it's all coming from the Bible.
So you're meaning to say that you are being shown verses for everything. As a matter of fact, the verses are actually being read.
Yes.
What, one after the other?
Yes, one after the other. One after the other. There's a question, and then he opens up the Bible, and there's the answer. And that just blew my mind.
Okay.
That right there is the key point, because how can you answer for God from your opinion, your feelings, right? Why don't you let God answer and just let it, it's in the Bible, it's right there. That's what the Bible's for. It's answers that we have for ourselves, and we want to know the answers, so the minister just reads it right there for you.
That's a good point. It's like the other preachers or other people, they interpret the Bible for themselves. It's either God said what he said or he didn't say it.
Exactly.
Right? So if you have 100 people saying different things about what they think God said, either all of them are incorrect or only one is correct.
Exactly.
That's a good point. Now, so after that initial introduction, their first worship service, would you say that it really made you think deeply?
Yes.
So when you went home that day after the worship service, what were you thinking?
I was thinking, like, oh, I finally found it. I finally found the true religion. Finally found
one session.
Yes, after one session. So think about it. From the time I was 15, all the way up until I was 30, I've been looking, and now I finally found it right there. And it just everything. You know, you have all chaos, and it just comes into an alignment.
Your heart was already there.
Yes.
But of course, you had to hear more.
Exactly.
So describe the events. Like you went back again next day, next week. How was it?
The next day after work, I showed up at his house and said, "Hey, when's another worship service? When are we going? What do we do next?" And he said, "Oh, the next worship service is not until like next Wednesday or Thursday." And I said, "Oh man, it's Monday. So what do we do?" "Oh, you can attend a Bible study." "Oh, okay, that's cool. Let me do that." So I attended a Bible study. So I'm already thinking that I'm already part of the church. So I don't have to do anything else.
So what did they tell you? You had to listen.
Yeah, you have to listen to the teachings. You have to listen to all the lessons, and then you have to get baptized. I didn't even know. I was going to church. I was going to Bible studies. And I wasn't participating in anything else because I always thought like most Protestant churches. You thought that you were already a member. Yeah, because most Protestant churches, they just say, as long as it feels right, it feels good.
You're just about any other church.
Yeah.
Just about any other religion. Yeah. You just show up, you're a face. Hey, you like what you see? Okay, you're a member. There's nothing else. They don't even teach you what their basic tenets are.
Exactly.
But in the Church of Christ, in the Iglesia y Cristo, you have to hear first the true message. Right, which is based on Mark 16:15 and 16. You have to hear the gospel.
Yes.
And then after that, you have to believe in it.
Yes.
And then be baptized. So while you are now listening to the Bible study lessons, right? There are 28 fundamental lessons. It's not the whole Bible, but it's the fundamental, foremost teachings.
Yes.
There had to be a time that you said to yourself, well, even though you said to yourself the first time that this is it, but there was probably another time that came to you and go, man, this is really the true church.
It is.
Can you describe that?
Because every lesson is something new. You just can't, I can't wait till I hear another lesson. That's what all the lessons were, because they teach you all the basic fundamentals, the things that you're supposed to believe in. That's right there in the Bible, not something that you just think you feel right. That it feels right to do this. I'll do it. But no, this is teaching you fundamentals, everything that you should be doing in the Bible, right there, and everything about who is God, where the Bible come from, who is Christ, the power of God. Everything is there, and it's like I couldn't wait. I mean, I would be working. I work from 3 p.m. all the way until probably like 3 a.m. But I have a Bible lesson that's at probably around 7 o'clock. Well, when I go out and deliver my medication to different pharmaceuticals and different convalescent homes, I make sure I break off and I go to the Bible study. So I'm there for an hour. And yeah, back then I didn't have a cell phone. They had pagers.
Right.
And they would be paging me, but I don't care. I want to listen to what's going on right here.
That was most important to you.
Yes.
So, it's funny. I find it funny. I was kind of laughing inside that here you are. Initially, you said to, who was the brother who invited you, by the way? What's his name?
Camilo Inofanada.
Right. So you said to Brother Camilo, hey, you don't got to, I don't need to know anything new. I've heard it all before. I know a lot.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you went to the Church of Christ about what you knew or thought you knew?
Yeah. What I thought I knew, it's like it just blew my mind. Everything that I thought I knew was all just false. The only basis that, what Protestant churches have is that, yes, they teach there's God the Father. I learned that, right? There's Jesus, right? I learned that. But everything else is whatever you learn at Protestant churches or any Catholic church or any church, that's not the faith. It's truth when you come to Church of Christ.
When you got to the point of the prophecies about this church, where it came from, what did you think about those things? I mean, these are not, can't call it orthodox teachings as the other churches would describe being orthodox. What could you say about that?
My mom read the Bible to me, somewhat. And a lot of things I've heard before in the Bible, but never explained the true prophecies of those things. But then when I hear it from the Church of Christ, those prophecies come real to life because they're actually there in the Bible. Everything is there in the Bible. For instance, when I go to the church, yes, there's a lot of Asians there, right? But God called Hebrews before. So, of course, everybody in the first century, when they were in the church, were all...
The first members, yes.
Yeah, they were all Hebrews.
Before the Gentile members.
Yeah. And then when they got the Gentile members, there still were a bunch of Hebrews, too. Right? But the church didn't stay in one spot. It grew out. Okay. So, you shouldn't be offended, or anybody should never be offended by, oh, that's a bunch of Asians, or, oh, this is a bunch of blacks, oh, this is a bunch of whites, or any nationality. Right. You should just listen to the words of God.
That is the key point.
That's the main point. That's the only point. You have to listen to the words of God.
Now in other religions, if you go to any church, there is not one church or a religion that would say that they are not true. Okay? That's a general claim of everyone. Right? Follow our way. The way that we're teaching, the Baptists will say that, the Methodists will say that, Catholics will say that. And here comes the Iglesia in Cristo, the Church of Christ, saying, well, look, we are the true Church of Christ.
Right.
So what makes our claim different than the others who are also claiming to be of God and of Christ?
Oh, the teachings alone, directly from the Bible, not something that is made up. Plus, we're pretty much all over the world. There's nobody else, no other church that's teaching within the Iglesia in Cristo different doctrines. Okay. Unlike if you go to a Baptist church, you have how many Baptists? First Baptist, Second Baptist, AME Baptist, South Baptist, East Baptist. Well, which one is it? They're not in unity. There's no unity. There's no unity there. In the Church of Christ, there's unity, always unity.
All right. Well, let me play devil's advocate. Let's say that another religious organization or another church, they're all over the place, like the Church of Christ, the Iglesia in Cristo, and they also have unity. Does it make them a true church?
No.
Why us?
Because they have the teachings.
Okay.
Look at the teachings. the teachings are more powerful and much more clear in understanding. They're directly from the Bible.
Okay.
Unlike the Baptists, or if they're, let's say if it was a Baptist or any Protestant church that was all over the world, which they pretty much are. But do you have the true teachings? Do you have the understanding of the Bible? Do you have understanding of God's Word?
So once you were shown these things, what did you realize about this church?
It's a phenomenal church. This church, it teaches the truth. This is the truth. You have to be, I don't know, you have to be like a fool not to know that this is it.
If you get to see the evidence.
Right. I mean, take it from me. Yeah, I went to one worship service that they had, and I was blown away. I was astonished, right? But still, I was hungry for more and wanted to see more. So if you're invited, if anybody is invited by a friend or a family or a loved one, go to a worship service. Go to a Bible study. Ask questions, and you'll see the same thing. They don't give their opinion. Like, oh, I feel, I read somewhere. No, they don't do that. They open up the Bible, and they'll show you.
When you talk about questions, you had a lot of questions throughout your years. Were they all answered in the church?
They were all answered. The Bible study for me, it was an hour. It was an hour.
Right.
But usually it goes probably like 2 hours or probably like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Because?
I'm asking questions.
And you got your answers.
I got my answers.
In the Bible.
Yeah. And a lot of questions, they said, well, just hold on because that'll be answered in the next Bible study. Okay, I got to come back.
That's right. All right. Well, we'll hear more from Brother Sam when we come back. Don't go away. Welcome back to One on One. With us is Brother Sam Hamilton. See how being awakened by the truth has brought new meaning to his life.
It feels like someone's, watching over you. You're not just out there in the world just by yourself, It's like you have a protective hedge around you. That's what it feels like to me, to be, part of the Church of Christ. You have to have those values. And if you don't have those values and the teachings from the Church of Christ, it's just going to be like an empty dream. You'll wonder why you can't get to the places that you need to get to. You wonder why you can't accomplish the goals that you need to get to. So you need to have those great spiritual and also family values. That's what the Church of Christ teaches you, and that is through the words of God. It's just like Christ came here, he helped everybody here find the true word of God. That's what we need to do also. We have to do the same. We have to give back.
Brother Sam, in one of the segments that we watched, you mentioned that you had like aha moment or aha moments. What did you mean by that?
My aha moment came when I first heard the teachings. And they talked about rumors of wars. And there would be rumors of wars, and then you would know the last days. And then they found what happened in that history, 1914, when the First World War broke out.
Right.
That's when I had an aha moment. Then I started looking around, like, you guys hear this? This is amazing. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
How the prophecy right there in the Bible, and then it actually comes true.
Pinpoint
it right there on the spot. That's an aha moment for me.
Okay. What has it been like for you to find the truth, finally? How could you describe that to people?
Oh man, it's like amazing thing. It's like finding something that you've been searching for so long, and then you kind of like feel like I'll never find it, and then all of a sudden it's there. It's there for you right here, and when you find it, it's like overjoyed, so much feeling of happiness. You find that I found God, true God, our Father. I found him, and now I can worship him in the right way, instead of being out there lost in the wilderness of different teachings and not even knowing him. In other religions, like for me, there was a hole. And you can go out and do anything. You can buy the nice cars, you can have the money, right? You can, date the best girls or whatever, but you still want more, or you still feel empty inside. Once you come to the Church of Christ, that hole is fulfilled. Money, material things is not,
It's not happiness.
Not happiness
True
at all.
happiness.
No, it's not. I mean, yeah, you need some of that, but what you really need is to quench your spirit. Fill your spirit up. And a lot of people, they go to church every day, every Sunday, but really, do you live by those teachings? Do you know even the teachings that you're talking about?
Good point.
Do you know that?
When were you baptized?
I was baptized October 29th, 2000.
2000. What was that like for you, during your baptism? Because that's a big moment.
Yeah, that was a real big moment. I finally get to become a true member of the Church of Christ.
A true servant of God.
Yes. And I was so happy, just so ecstatic. I couldn't wait. I didn't even sleep the previous day.
In anticipation for what was to come.
I even showed up at the person who invited me. I showed up at his house.
You guys went together.
Yeah, 12 a.m., but the baptism was not until like 8 o'clock.
You were so eager.
Yes.
So since being baptized into the Church of Christ, life is not easy for anybody. But what is it like that even though at times you may experience some issues, some problems, what is it like to know that God has been inside, and maybe you have some personal experiences with certain things that you went through, and
I mean, it really feels like you have somebody watching over you, somebody that's got your back all the time. Yeah, you're gonna have problems. I have my problems, like everybody else have their problems, but you have God, most powerful being in the world, watching over you, and the most righteous church in the whole world. And it's like a phenomenon. Like I'm untouchable. It doesn't make a difference. Whatever comes my way, whatever problems, any turmoil, or anything that happens to me, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll go through it, but guess what? I have the true God on my side, and He'll see me through it with His guiding hand.
What about the rest of your other family members, your relatives? Say, have they been curious to find out what in the world you did?
Well, my mom, she was happy because before, when I was out as a Muslim, she's happy that I came back to Christianity. Period. But she still she still holds dear to her religion, and she still believes that her religion is correct. But she's still happy for me that I got baptized in the church.
You try to talk to her from time to time about certain things?
I invite her to special events. My son sung in the choir for the first time for CWS.
Right.
And, he came in.
The children's worship service.
Yeah, children's worship service. And my mom came and witnessed that. Yeah. So every little event, you have, especially with my son, or any event that I have, I try to always invite her and always give her the Pasugo, the message.
The God's Message magazine.
Yes.
Well, she hasn't really made any comments. She just says, I'll stick to what I know.
Yeah.
But you tried to tell her about the difference between the Iglesia and Cristo and other churches.
Yes, I do. But, parent, child. Mama knows more.
Very true. Yeah,
Mama knows more
true.
than her son.
Yeah, that oftentimes that becomes an issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you may know religion, but you don't know more than me because I'm your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Aside from, you have any brothers and sisters, by the way?
Yeah, I have one brother and I have 2 sisters.
And are they near you in location? No?
Right now, my brother is in Oxnard, and my older sister is in Bakersfield. And then my other sister, she lives in Downey.
All in California?
Yeah.
All in California?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Now, they also know about you becoming a member of the church, because in the Church of Christ, the members true members, we say, are extremely active.
Yes.
The church becomes our life. Doesn't mean that we're not living. We're actually really alive, because we're doing things for serving God. So I am sure that they've probably noticed, because you are not just a regular member, you have a special duty or function or office in the church. What's your office?
I'm a deacon.
You're a deacon.
Yeah,
So
in Eagle Rock locale. Even before I even got baptized, I always felt that I wanted to do more within the church. So I was always an officer in the church. I feel that if you're gonna be a part of the church, just don't just show up. You gotta be active and do something more than that.
Why is it that people need the Church of Christ?
You need it for your salvation, really for your salvation. And if people tell me that that's good for you, right? Which a lot of people have told me, says really you don't know. You got to come and listen, and then make your opinion, yourself. Don't listen to other people. Come inside, go to a Bible study, come to a worship service, either one, and listen for yourself. And you make your opinion. Don't listen to other people. Don't listen to people when they say, oh, that's one of those Asian churches. No, don't listen to that. Listen to the words of God that's speaking directly from the Bible. Listen to that. And you tell me, is this the church? You tell me, oh, this is right or this is wrong. You tell me that.
And it was proven already to you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brother Sam, for joining us. May God bless you.
Thank you, brother.
Now, as you listen to Brother Sam's story, perhaps it reminded you of someone you know, or maybe even your own story. With so many choices of churches out there, it's easy to get confused. But keep in mind that there are tons of religions and churches out there in the world. But if you want the truth, there is only one. The only church built by our Lord Jesus Christ, the Church of Christ, or Iglesia ni Cristo. For more information about the Iglesia ni Cristo or Church of Christ nearest you, write us at 1-on-1, 770 Airport Boulevard, Burlingame, California, 94010. Or email us at 1on1@inctvprod.net. Thanks for joining us. I am Brother Barry Thompson. See you next time. God bless.